What's happening, everybody? Welcome to week 8 of the San Diego high school football season. Got the preview podcast here for you, presented by Palomar Insurance. Please go support the people that support us. And also, if you're watching this on social, head over to YouTube. If you're watching this on YouTube, apologies for this intro being redundant, but we will get to every single game in under 15 minutes. So if you don't see it here, go check it out. La Jolla, Lincoln, that's the number one game here. And that is, I am a La Jolla alum. I am biased towards La Jolla, so I want to be like, hey, Lincoln, be on upset alert. But I also, will be realistic in this one and say that's an uphill task for La Jolla, but good on you, boys. Go get that done on Friday night. On the Lincoln side, they're going to continue to roll and hopefully expose the one voter who voted for them to not be the number one team. Victory Christian Academy, Maranatha Christian. Victory Christian, what was last week? They ripped off a huge win, so I'm confused now. Are they a spoiler team? Are they a real team that it finally clicked? This will be an interesting game on both sides because Maranatha has to protect that sterling record that they've got this year to try and get a high seed, if not a bye, in the playoffs. El Camino and Rancho Bernardo, that's the next one. RB is on an absolute tear this season. El Camino, though, at 2-4 has played one of the toughest schedules, so this reeks of trap game, but also if RB can get through it, this 7-0 means they are very close to perfection there. Valley Center and Mount Carmel, I want to say my apologies to Braylon, the Valley Center quarterback. I was working too quick this week with the intern and all that, and I gave him credit for a touchdown reception instead of a pass. My bad, homie. Let's see you get it done this week. Mount Carmel at 3-4 is very deceptive. They are going to get kind of caught up in the wash, it looks like, of the churn of the playoff scenarios, but either way, I still think dangerous team. Julian and Coastal Academy, this one is apparently mislabeled. It's going to be a JV game, but hey, if you want a Saturday matinee, go check that one out. Madison and University City, UC takes a loss last week, so they are in now, I'm not going to say fight or die mode, but if they want to retain, get a home seed in the playoffs, every win is important for them. Madison, on the flip side of that, I think that they could be. Apologies, Spam Risk was calling me. But Madison, they could be 2-8, but still rattle off a championship. I don't know. This team just confuses me. So more sample size I can get, the better. San Marcos and La Costa Canyon Parrot teams at 5-1. LCC takes a gut-wrenching loss last week, so I have to assume they are on the warpath this week. San Marcos is a fantastic football team as well. So this could be game of the week. Del Norte and Oceanside. Oceanside, kind of like Madison, they could get lost in the churn, but also Oceanside could turn it back on and still in this season 6-4. Very curious to watch there. Del Norte, kind of the same. They're battling for, are we going to be high seed in one playoff, low seed in another? They got to figure it out. They're Poway and Torrey Pines. We talked to Luke Jorgensen from Poway this week. Go check that interview out. He's a cool kid. Oh man, there's a pair of squads that, if one of them takes a loss here, one of them has to take a loss most likely, but if whoever takes the loss here, I almost am more in on that team being champs. You know what I'm saying? Good game. El Cajon Valley, Monte Vista, that's the next game we got to talk about. Monte Vista, chance for the defending champs here to get above 500, pick up some steam going into the last couple weeks of the season. El Cajon Valley, any win they can get at this point is just going to be good vibes and fantastic for them to pick up some momentum, to get themselves in the playoffs and kind of be proof of concept for how good of a team they can potentially be given some of the pieces they have. Santana and Grossmont. Santana took a pair of losses recently, and I think that they are still I think they're a 7-3, 8-2 kind of team. Grossmont is another very tough test, so Santana's going to benefit. And again, I hate doing the moral victory thing, but this is a good game for either one of these teams. Vincent Memorial and Palo Verde Valley trying to both get themselves a dub. Palo Verde Valley, with those 2 wins, win number 3 would be huge for them to get into some good playoff positioning. Canyon Hills and Kearney, pair of teams that I think when at least I had seen this game a couple weeks out, I didn't expect this to be as close and potentially impactful as it was. But if Canyon Hills has a chance to get to end a season 500, get into the play, that is fantastic for that program to be headed in the right direction. Coronado and Claremont, you talk about a program headed in the right direction. Coronado has got the pieces and has a chance here to move to 4-2. Man, yeah, Hines has come really close a lot of the recent years to having that breakthrough moment. This feels like it could be this for Coach Hoover and Patrick Henry. Hoover with a crazy loss last week in the Battle of the Boulevard. I would assume they are coming for blood this week. Patrick Henry, though, we've seen some flashes. Like, they have the pieces. Curious to see who wins this one. Mount Miguel and Granite Hills. Granite Hills at 3-3. Don't let that fool you. They are a very, very good team. They've lost to some of the best in the state. Mount Miguel is one of those very top state. This is a great, I think this is now the premier East County rivalry. It used to involve Helix. That is not there anymore. Right now, this is as good as it gets for a pair of East County teams, Escondido Charter and Army-Navy. Army-Navy has been kind of doing the same thing that I was saying with Coronado. They're waiting for their breakthrough. They played themselves into what they claimed was too high of a playoff category last year, so they look like they're on that, like, we're going to be 9-1, 8-2 again kind of vibes. So, like, I'm watching every week to see if they have any weaknesses at all. I'm curious if Escondido Charter can expose that. Calexico and Imperial. Calexico is at a really good spot in this season, and they are going to finish in, I think, a good enough spot to get themselves in a nice little playoff position. But Imperial is a incredibly tough task. I think Imperial is one of the best teams in the county. I think Imperial has the best running back and wide receiver combo that any school has right now, and I think that they will be 10-0 headed into the playoffs. Christian and Scripps Ranch. Christian, not where they want to be in terms of the win-loss column, but they are a very talented team. Scripps Ranch, though, they have exploded the last couple of weeks with their quarterback starting to really dial things in. Ramona and San Pasqual. We're going to have the San Pasqual quarterback, Robert Renteria, on the show with us this week. Make sure you check that out. Ramona, they are they went from being trap game to being just, they are a good squad. They play a tough season. They play a tough schedule. If they get into the playoffs either at 4-6 or at 6-4, either way, they could still be very dangerous. Cathedral Catholic and Point Loma, let's go. This is a 5-1 Cathedral, a 6-0 Point Loma. This game means more than it has in the last couple of years. So shout out to Coach Price for bringing in Point Loma back. And for Cathedral Catholic, their loss was to a really good team. Mathematically, 2 losses does not eliminate them from open division, but they also have to play Lincoln still this season. So I will say every game is do or die for Cathedral making open right now. West Hills and Valhalla, 2 teams that did not envision themselves at 1-5, but I still think have the football talent and skill to get themselves into the playoffs, and one of them is going to get a win here that ends up being hugely important for them. Escondido and Westview, kind of the same thing. 2 teams where there ends up being sort of this wishy-washy churn, if you will, of playoff seedings that gets figured out the last couple weeks, and there end up being wins that you're like, oh, that's really important versus that one. O'Farrell Charter has a chance to go to 3-4. Tri-City Christian is a good team. They played a tough season. O'Farrell, though, 3 wins. If you don't understand how important that is for them, you haven't been following football the last couple years, that's okay. We're here to educate all of you. But, if O'Farrell can get to 4 or 5 wins before even getting to the playoffs, this will be the season that it finally happens for them as a program. This is best team in school history. Crawford and Morse. Crawford with a huge win last week. Hopefully that picks up a little bit of momentum for them. Morse, Superior Guard, one of the best overall football players in the county, absolutely worth your checking out. Santa Fe Christian, Coastal Academy, SFC is a most likely going to win the Coastal League, head back to D1 type of team, and Classical Academy, this will be a good strength of schedule for them. Bishops and Don Lugo. Bishops is traveling far and far away, but this team that they're playing is I don't know anything about it. Bishops is this in-section team. Go Bishops. Oh, that hurts to say as a La Jolla alum. Sweetwater and Eastlake. If Sweetwater can beat Eastlake, no matter how quote-unquote down of a season Eastlake is having, this will be a sign of the changing times. Sweetwater's had a good couple of last years, and I hate calling or predicting games, but I'm just saying, pay attention to this one in the South Bay. Montgomery and San Ysidro, 2 teams very happy to be sitting at 6-4. I think Montgomery is a little bit heavier hitter of a team, but this is at San Ysidro. You never know, man. West Shores, we're rooting for them over United Christian Academy because West Shores is the in-section team. Calipatria, same with them. We're rooting for them over Somerton because they are the in-section team. Castle Park and Olympian, they take their first loss in the Battle of the O's. They get a bye week. I'm assuming they are going to unload here on Castle Park, but Castle Park, sometimes teams love playing the foil. They love messing them up. Hilltop in Southwest San Diego. Hilltop, this would be a big win to get them to that chance of being above 500 to close out the season, but it's at home. It's against a pretty good South Bay, rival-ish kind of team. Hilltop's got some pieces that we've seen some flashes, and if they can maintain it, it can be really dangerous. All right, last slate of games. Mar Vista, Bonita Vista. Bonita Vista and Mar Vista both have played tough teams. Most teams that you see right now in the 500 range, they're football teams. They're playing what they play. This one's impossible for me to tell. If Mar Vista, though, we saw a couple weeks at the beginning with their team executing at what the formula was, and if they can keep doing that against Bonita Vista or anybody in the next couple weeks to close out the season, I still like them to be a deep playoff run. Hard pass on predicting this next game. I'm going to just say go Calvin Christian. Francis Parker has adult coaches telling me to, quote unquote, stay out of our sport. So, I will avoid talking about them in any capacity for the ongoing future. A shout out to their whole admin for handling that on a very one-sided basis. You're a bunch of great people. San Diego and St. Augustine. Oh, the rematch from last season's playoffs. I love it. And I know that's not a full rematch because graduation and teams turnover and whatnot, but you got to assume this one's bad blood between these two squads based off of how last year ended. Saints is better in the X's and O's and wins and losses and all of that of last year, but Saints is a defending championship team. San Diego is a very deep team. This will be a very, very good football game, but I got to assume that San Diego is just hell-bent on not letting another L happen here. Mira Mesa and Mission Bay. Mission Bay, 7-0, about to make it potentially 8-0 with leading passers, great defense, and less than 30 kids on their roster is a really cool story. Mater Dei Catholic and Otay Ranch. Mater Dei climbs themselves back above 500 after playing a really tough start to the schedule. Otay Ranch with a new coach, Howard Bannister, this year. Huge, and them winning the battle of the O's could entirely flip the script and be like, hey, that's when it clicked. We're all good. We're going to make a deep run here. I don't know. It's complete unknown in that first year of turnover. Rock Academy and Orange Glen. Rock Academy's offense is explosive and fantastic. I'm assuming this is going to be another big night for them. Horizon Prep and Borrego Springs. Borrego Springs put together themselves a nice little season. Let's see if they can remain undefeated. And finally, Central and Holtville. Central takes a loss last week to Imperial, and teams that take their first loss of the season, I think, are always dangerous, kind of. You want to avoid them. But Holtville's got the best rusher maybe in the state, just in terms of pure. I love this year where we've got we got Imperial and Holtville having two of the best, if not the two best running backs in the section. What a great balance of power this year. All right, that's every game from the San Diego section this week. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Thank you to Palomar Insurance for your support. As always, please go support the people that support us and go check out a football game this week. See you guys there.